morning. My name is David Anguera, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about the incident that occurred in Florida with the building collapse and why that's important for all of us to pay attention to. And one of the key issues that I think that we have to be aware of as citizens is what is the responsibility of governments, governmental entities, in terms of our safety and the safety of people that live in these buildings or work in these buildings. And how do you enforce the legal duties and responsibilities of government entities to make sure that things get done? So recall that this may have been the state of Florida, and because many laws in different states are different, I'm just going to give you a general overview of what a government's duty and responsibility is relevant to the construction of a building and the ongoing maintenance and inspection of buildings. So it's different for commercial and residential buildings, but the basic principle is you want to maintain the safety, the structural integrity of the building. So at the very beginning, most buildings, almost all buildings, residence or commercial, require a building permit process. There's a reason for that. They want inspectors, government appointed inspectors who are trained and educated as engineers or inspectors to make sure that buildings are being properly built and structurally sound for a long period of time. Now, what happens after the building is constructed? Do you just ignore it? No, you don't. What should occur, and what does occur in many municipalities, cities and towns and states, is there's an ongoing inspection procedure. So you'll have inspectors from cities and towns going to buildings and looking at these buildings to see if they see anything that concerns them in terms of safety, because you're talking about structural integrity. Now, here's the important thing to remember. These people are specially trained to recognize what is an unsafe condition. You and I can look at a crack in a concrete foundation and think, oh, it's just a crack. We've seen them all over the place. So what? Well, our eyes are not trained to know the difference between a crack that's dangerous and a crack that's just cosmetic. So when these government officials and government inspectors see something that's dangerous, they have a responsibility to report it to someone. And here's where many of the processes fail. Once those conditions are reported, either to the unit owners, to the condominium trust, or the commercial building owner, many times the enforcement of that violation that's found isn't followed up. Now, what should be done, our recommendation is that there has to be an enforcement procedure. So when there's a violation found by a government official or even a private inspector, and the owners of that building, the people responsible for it, fail to fix the problem, then there has to be a sanction, a punishment, some type of enforcement to make sure that it's done to avoid the type of things that happened in Florida. Now, reasonably, no one ever expected a whole building to collapse in this country. We'd expect that in third world countries where the safety protocols are not anything close to ours. So what happened here? And we don't have all the facts. I don't know all the facts, but something happened that shouldn't have happened. And this appears to be a massive failure of communication and failure to respond to whatever communications there were about fixing a problem that was known to a lot of people. What we do know is that people recognized that there were dangerous conditions. These dangerous conditions were brought to the attention of the people that could have fixed them. For whatever reason, we don't know what the reasons are. It could have been money, it could have been timing, it could have been a whole host of other factors. The problem wasn't addressed in time to avoid this disaster. This is an eye-opener for all of us. And we all have this responsibility in our own homes, in buildings that you enter. If you see an unsafe condition, then do something about it. Tell someone about it, report it. If you are the owner of the building or the residents and you realize that there's an unsafe condition, then you need to fix it, because if something happens and someone gets hurt, you're going to be ultimately responsible for those injuries. So our advice is, if you need to consult about things like this, you should consult with experts in the field, engineers, architects, safety engineers, people that know what they're talking about. Too many times these days, you see it on TV, you have commentators and even politicians talking about things that they know nothing about. You need to talk to the experts when you have these kinds of problems. and you need proper enforcement. And if people aren't fixing the problems that they become aware of or they're notified about, they need to be held legally responsible. And that's what we do here at Swartz and Swartz. When we deal with cases like this, we turn over every single stone to find out the history of this building or these residences, see if there was a dangerous condition that was either known or should have been known to the owners, and hold everybody responsible for the injuries that they caused. So if you have any questions about these issues, give us a call at Swartz and Swartz. We'll be happy to help you, and thank you.